All right, Mike McGroarty from Mike'sBackyardNursery.com. Today I want to kind of give you a little bit of information about getting rid of standing water in your yard. And of course, for our members, this is going to apply for getting rid of standing water in your nursery as well. Basically, a lot of people have issues with water standing in their yard and they don't know what to try and do with it, and you can kind of fill the area with more soil or topsoil, and all you really do is just divert the water to some other place on top of the ground. So what happens, now years ago I had somebody call me up when I was landscaping, and this lady's yard kind of looked like this. Now if this line is level and then the backyard fell this direction from side to side, so her house would have been here, but her yard went this way, so then water collected all along here, and of course the neighbor's property was right here. So what I did is I put in a trench that went this way, and I did it as a French drain. There's a couple of ways you could do it. You could put, catch basins here that are open and you can see down into them that the water can get into, or you can make a French drain where the water can seep into some stone that you put installed there, and then it can get dispersed that way. So basically, what I did is I put in a French drain, and these little circles here are I'll show you on the other side here in a second more about the French drain. So basically, a French drain is kind of a invisible trench, invisible drainage system, somewhat invisible. So I put in the French drain this way, and what this does is as the water runs this way, it fell into this French drain, and this French drain had a perforated pipe in it that would collect that water. And then I actually ran more perforated pipes this way with more French drain. And what you need to do, if this is level, then when you run these other lines, you want to run them so they have a little bit of fall. About 6 inches per 100 feet is probably enough for this. So in other words, the soil, the yard goes downhill here, but if you start real close to the surface with this French drain, then you can go this way and get a little bit of fall, and of course as you go, you're digging deeper and deeper, and there's going to be a limit to how far you can dig. Typically, if you run a trencher somewhere, you're probably going to be at the 48-inch level. So what you're doing is you got a perforated pipe here that's covered with washed gravel so the water can get in. Because what happens is when you have an area like this, the water sets there and it just seals off the surface of the ground. So even if there's good drainage here, the water can't penetrate that top couple inches. And even here in my nursery, I've got really good soil that drains well, but we get into situations where that top 1 or 2 inches gets compacted, so we have to allow for the water to get below that compacted part where it can disperse and drain. So anyway, I ran several pipes this way, so the water would collect in this trench, and then it would get dispersed into these perforated pipes this way. And these perforated pipes, at very best, they need to be level, but really if you can get 6 inches of fall going this way, that way the water is always going to try and find its way to the end of this perforated pipe. Now this French drain, you got to appreciate our system here. I'm just going to kind of point that out to you. All right. So the French drain looks like this. So in other words, here's the perforated pipe that I was talking about. Right here, these little lines indicate the perforations in the pipe. And I'm going to show you outside with an actual pipe. And then, so what I did is I put some washed stone on top of that. Washed stone, it's really important that the stone be washed. And I use limestone because it's readily available here. Washed stone, like number 57 washed limestone, which is what they call it around here. And I'll show you an example. Has a compaction rate of less than 3% because there's no fines in it whatsoever. It's just stones. They've been completely screened, shaken, and washed of any fine limestone. If you use limestone with fines in it, that's great for a driveway because it will pack as hard as concrete, and of course water will stand on top of it. If you use washed stone, the water is going to seep right down into it. It's kind of like filling a a glass with ice cubes. The glass is completely full of ice cubes, but you can still pour 10 or 12 ounces of beverage on top of that ice cube because there's voids in the glass. So this works the same way. Then, so the pipe is here just a few inches below grade, and then on top of the pipe, so you've got a layer of washed stone that will collect the water, then the pipe, and then you want to put more wash down here, so because as this pipe fills with water, the water is going to seep out the bottom into this gravel and eventually be taken up in the ground. So essentially, when you're looking at this diagram, you can kind of trick water into running uphill, even though you're not getting it to run uphill, but you're getting it to run back the same direction from which it came. You're just doing it under the soil level. So I kind of hope that makes sense. And then we're going to walk outside and I'll show you the perforated pipe and the wash stone and a few other little things that we do here to get rid of standing water. All right, so back here I'm in our container area. We numbered our container area. So this one is 2 and 3 at that end, 4 is over there. That one is 5. Kind of numbered them in the way we put them in. It just helps us identify where certain plants are in the nursery. I finally put signs up so the customers could see, see all the signs and know, we could tell them what container area to go into. So anyway, these 2 container areas are one piece, and everything runs this way, so the ground falls towards me. So when I first built this and we started watering, I ended up with standing water on this end, and I mean the water would in this corner would be 8-10 inches deep, and it would go down, but it would take too long to go down. So what I did is underneath of this black nursery ground cover cloth, I've got washed gravel. You can see it, it's the same as this right here, and I'll show you, this washed gravel right here. This is number 57 limestone. It's screened and washed. There's no fines in there whatsoever. So water just kind of runs through this stone like a sieve. So all the water comes down here, and I got a layer of this stone, and then I also made like little trenches and just put more stone in them so that any water in this area would collect and then come to this corner. And then I put a perforated pipe. I put in a French drain, just like I explained to you earlier, and it goes this direction. There's a big tree right behind where Dustin's at shooting this. So I went around that way, and I probably went, I don't know, maybe 40 or 50 feet. And what I did is I put in perforated pipe just like this. This is a 6-inch perforated pipe. When you buy this stuff, they'll sell you a screen that kind of plugs in, a piece that'll plug in the end here so the stone and stuff can't get into the pipe. And that piece also has some, because what you want, it's got holes in it, because what you want is you want the water to be able to get into this pipe. It's kind of the magic of a French drain like this, because over here, I want these holes, and you can see the holes in there are like this. And, they're all around. They're probably, I guess, every other rib, has a slit like that, probably about 4 or 5 inches apart. So the water can easily find its way into this perforated pipe. So here I've got so I put some stone in the bottom, then I put the pipe in, and then I put more stone on top of it so that the water in this area can find its way into this pipe, and then it runs that way around the tree, and it has fall to it, so it's always running downhill from here to there. The pipe gets deeper and deeper and deeper, so there's fall. Then over there, the magic of perforated pipe is that instead of the holes letting the water in, over there they're letting the water out. So in the trench, over there, especially near the end, I went deeper and I put more stone. I probably put 24 inches of stone, and then the pipe, and then stone on top of that. So, and it works pretty well. It's not really fast because it's, it's a seeping type action, but I never have a problem with standing water in this area for very long at all. So it's a good way to get rid of it. And same thing, I actually ran it in an area that goes uphill, but I got it over there by putting the pipe in deeper and getting the pipe to run downhill as it went. So now we've still got a few areas, because let's say in container area number 5, this area is pretty much flat, so the water tends to seep in, but we had a few dips in here, and water would puddle, and then when it puddles, it gets slippery and slimy, and it creates a hazard for us and our customers. So basically what I did, let me find one. Okay. So I had a lot of standing water in this area right here. So what we did is we dug down about 24 inches with a post hole digger. We cut a hole in the ground cover cloth, dug down about 24 inches with a whole post hole digger, and then simply filled those holes with this washed gravel. So now we have very little standing water here. You may get a little tiny puddle like this or that one down there, but we don't have puddles that are 2 or 3 inches deep and cover, you know, a dozen or 20, 30, 40, 50 square feet. So this area, I put 1, 2, 3, there's one there, and I see one down on the end. So it's actually a pretty simple way to get rid of a, let's say you got a pretty big puddle in the middle, you don't know what to do with it. Just dig a hole, go down, the bigger the hole the better, but I made mine about 6 or 8 inches in diameter, down about 24 inches with the post hole digger, and simply filled it with that washed stone. So we'll put a link under this video to the web page with more descriptions about this, and then if you have questions you can post them on that web page. I don't respond to questions on YouTube typically because I just can't. I spend a great deal of time in our members area. Dustin handles all the email, but I do check Mike's Backyard Nursery and JapaneseMapleLovers.com, and I respond to comments there. I just can't get to YouTube and answer questions there. It's just, I just don't have the time. I wish I did, but I don't. So, all right, Mike McGroarty from Mike'sBackyardNursery.com. I hope this helped.